Today we're cooking outside on the Ozpig with my little girl, Charlotte, who we always call Charlie. No one calls you Charlotte, do they?
Nah.
Nah. All right, so we're gonna make a stir fry, one of Charlie's favorite meals to make and eat. Sweet chili stir fry. Really, really, really simple. As you can see by the amount of ingredients in front of me, we've shredded some Asian or stir-fried veggies, carrot, capsicum, snow peas, a little bit of celery. We've got all of our veggies there, so it's gonna be nice and healthy, Charlie.
Yeah, so there's some carrots and capsicum and all the other stuff that Dad said.
Yep, good girl. And we've got some garlic over here.
Garlic.
So I'm gonna chop this garlic up. Can you please pass me the ginger? Good girl, darling. And what else will I need? Can you see the sweet chili sauce? Can you put that into this bowl? Pour it into there. All of it? Yeah, this is sweet chili though, so it's not very hot. The sweetness, the sugar in there sort of helps control the chili component. Thumb-sized piece of ginger. So we'll dice this up as well. So in with that garlic that I've chopped. Girl, how do I do what? Oh, the chopping. You'll be able to do this one day.
You're going so fast.
Pop that in. Now, can you please pass me the lemongrass? Good girl. So this is pretty hard to cut. So I'm going to cut it in half like that. See where it starts to go a little bit white and then it goes green as it goes up?
Yeah.
We only want the white bit.
Okay.
So we'll chop that, and then we'll pop that lemongrass in. Do the same to this bit. Just chop it down the middle like that.
Yeah.
Then makes a cool noise, doesn't it?
Yeah. I like that noise.
All right, so now we want to mix all that together. Can you mix it for me, please?
Yep.
While you're mixing, I'm going to start cooking our chicken. Okay? So I want a wok on the heat. So the good thing about how we've got this set up is you've got your little, sort of your wok burner, your hole there. We've got a big pot on so we can cook our noodles in our pot. And then once we've made our stir fry, we're going to drag our noodles straight in. So can you put a pinch of salt into there and stir it, and I'll put our noodles on.
This much?
The noodles in. That's all done?
Yep.
Good girl. So our chicken is going to go into our hot oil.
It makes a rustling noise when you put it in because the meat gets hot and it makes that.
Good girl. So we're going to cook that chicken until it's nice and brown. Then we'll add our vegetables, okay, and our sauce. We'll mix it all around, and then we'll bring our noodles in. So once they're cooked, we'll bring the noodles straight out of here into there. Okay, sound good?
Straight out, so you don't get hot on there, then it spreads over to your fingers.
Sound good?
Good.
So our chicken's cooked, Charlie. Yep. So we're going to pop all of our veggies in now. And our sauce. We'll hold that off to the end so we've got some nice fresh veggies to go in at the end. Okay, a bit of a stir and a fry. Now we want these veggies to still be nice and crunchy, don't we? You like crunchy ones? Yep. So they'll stay nice and crunchy. I can drag the noodles straight out of here. And about 2 big lots for me and you. And can you pour the rest of your fresh veggies in there? So they're really crunchy. Dip them in. Good girl. Stir in our fresh veggies. Thank you. Now, do you want to try some?
Yeah.
See what it's like? And just make sure it's not too hot for you, okay?
Is it good?
Nice and crunchy?
You can hear it.
You can hear it crunch. We've got all our noodles in there, our chicken. It's pretty good. What do you think? Yum. Go. It's really good. And now we're heading to Hobart, Tasmania's capital, to meet some local tonic and soda makers and learn about the art of drink mixing. And you've got some sodas now as well. So were these designed as other mixers or just as sodas?
Yeah, so if the tagline on the tonic is respect your gin, the tagline on the sodas is save our spirits.
Yep.
So what we found over the 18 months of talking to people at market and engaging with our consumers was not everyone is a gin drinker, and that's fair enough. Yep. And there are gin drinkers who don't like quinine. So we took advantage of the downtime that was offered to us in 2020 to come up with a range of alternate mixers for other spirits. So we have a leather wooden sea salt, which would probably also appeal to you. That's a perfect mixer for vodkas,
yep.
but it's also quite lovely on a gin if you don't want the tonic.
Yep.
Bearing in mind that, again, you're going to get more of a single flavour out of your gin and not that layering that tonic will allow to open up in the botanicals. You'll
yep.
get a much more uniform taste profile. Lemon, lime and pepperberry is our Tasmanian alternative to lemon, lime and bitters. It's proven to be a huge hit with families, which surprised us a bit. I think we were thinking of it as a vodka mixer, but lots of families are buying it because, again, all this soda range comes in at under 4% sugar.
Yeah, I was going to say, it says low sugar.
So it's still really, really low. The two sort of bookends on either side of that are a dry cola and a spiced cola. So coinciding with this range was the opening of the New Norfolk rum distillery after so many years of not having rum made in Tasmania. And although I'm the gin drinker in the family, my husband is much more of a rum drinker. So he was looking for something to mix with rum. He had originally been using our smoked eucalyptus tonic, but tonic and rum are not a great mix. So Andrew thought to make, again, a cola, but different. So the cola in our range is clear. It has no caffeine, no color, no artificial color, and no artificial flavors. So it's a range of spices that Andrew has used to come up with what probably is closest to the old-fashioned soda shops of the 1950s. So those are clear colas. The smoked cola uses the same smoke as we do in our smoked eucalyptus.
Yep.
It matches beautifully with a spiced rum. But again, at 4% sugar, if your family is a Coke drinker and you want to get them off of the caffeine and the artificials, you can choose to drink our range and you're drinking an all-natural soda.
So nice to see a cola and in the list of ingredients it says spices.
Yes, correct.
That's cool.
There's no artificial flavours. I think the one thing we've been non-compromising on is creating something that we would be happy for our daughter to drink.
Yep.
We're not a sugar family. I'm actually a bit of a fanatic. I hate it. I hate what it does to me, but I hate more overly what it does to spirits when I drink them. Yeah. So across this whole range, the ethos has been to be as natural as we can, to be as true to the Tasmanian narrative as we possibly can. We can't get Cinchona in Australia, so we have to get it from South America. That's the only thing that we do. And also our daughter, who was adamant, will confess to having been E43 drinkers before we met her in Tonic.
Not a bad one.
And the thing that our daughter complained the most about was the amount of bottles we were wasting. You know, you'd have one drink and throw a bottle away.
True.
So the reason these are syrup format is thanks to the 13-year-old with her environmental mindset. Yep. She said that she would help us sell our product 18 months ago. She would help us do the hard yards if we were committed to finding a way to do it so that people weren't wasting. So at 30 serves a bottle, we managed to meet her objective, which is great. So the food miles are low, the environmental impact is lower. It's not completely eliminated because obviously they're glass, but the glass is recyclable, the lids are also recyclable. And you can use your soda stream at home to make it with. So you're using a resource you already have at your disposal. Yeah. So, yeah.
So the sodas are mixers as well?
Correct, they're all the exact same concept. It's 10 mils of a concentrated syrup diluted with your own sparkling water to create a drink to your own standards. So we make recommendations on 10 mils of syrup, but if you're drinking with a friend and you like more tonic and they like less, you can choose to put more or less in your glass. You don't have that option when you knock the top off of a bottle. It tastes of what it tastes like because someone else has decided what your flavour profile is.
True.
Correct.
So you've ticked all the boxes. You've got spirit drinkers covered, you've got gin drinkers covered, and you ticked your daughter's box on the whole.
I did. And it's always good to satisfy a 13-year-old female. So
I don't know
that's
how
what
you
we've done.
That's a fantastic effort. Well, you reckon this one for me?
I think that that's the one. Well, I'll give it to you. You can tell me if it's for you after you've tried it.
Take it back to the kitchen. I reckon I can come up with not only a few ideas with how I'll mix it with my gin, but I'm going to play around with some other ideas in the kitchen with it.
So the one thing, we have a few customers on the mainland, we couldn't really understand. They were putting in all these orders, restaurants in orders. I kept thinking, why are they going through so much gin? We'd look on their website, they didn't even have gin on their menu. They're using them in their kitchens. Pastry chefs line their pastry dishes with the syrup to give it that Tasmanian flavour. We roast our meats in the smoked, Andrew puts a base of the smoked eucalypt on a lot of our meats. Yep. Grace puts the pepperberry tonic in her Madeline trays to create a beautiful Madeline flavour on the top of them. So, and in winter, we found that they make really great mulled gins without much effort. Just hot water with the syrup and then add your gin of choice. Yep. So they're not limited to face value what they look like.
When a product is good, it could normally carry over many different things. And I think this will do the same. Desserts, I've got plenty of ideas. And even, like you said, with meats, being able to base different meats, straight away, games, venison, things like that with this would be fantastic.
It'd be beautiful.
Yeah, so I'm going to give that a try back in the kitchen. Thank you for having us here at your place. It's beautiful. You wouldn't know we were basically in the middle of Hobart. You've got your own little piece of paradise here.
We're very lucky. I think when we moved back from Europe, when we found this spot, we just thought this was it. This is where we'd start a business. This is where we would work with native botanicals, somewhere that was inspiring.
So from a whole bunch of tonics that you can use to go with gin, I'm going to show you a gin recipe. I'm doing a blueberry pudding, and we're going to flavour our blueberries with gin. Gin and blueberries, great combination. You could even get one of those little mixers and put some of that mixer in the blueberry mix as well if you wanted to. Probably, I don't know, probably the one that I got, the salt-based one, would go well with the blueberries, I think. So, first, I want to make my batter for the pudding component, so the top of the pudding, the cake mix, basically. I need some butter. I need 80 grams of butter. I need 1 cup of sugar, of which I'm going to leave about 1.5 tablespoons, 2 tablespoons out to mix through my blueberries. And I'm just going to beat that until my sugar and my butter have come together to form, it's like a buttercream. Once I've got that buttercream formed, it'll take about anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes, depending on how soft your butter is. Once I've got that formed, I'm going to add a little bit of flour, about 1/4 cup of flour, and then I'm going to add my buttermilk, which I've got about 125 mils of buttermilk, and make my sort of the wet component of my batter, and then I'll add my flour to that. While that's mixing, I'll get my dry components ready. They'll be cinnamon, 1 teaspoon, allspice, 1 teaspoon, baking powder, 1 teaspoon, and then about 2 cups of self-raising flour into a bowl. That's our dry ingredients done. So my butter and sugar combined. I'm going to add an egg and do this one at a time. So add that and whisk it in. So this is starting to come together. It's starting to become nice and light and fluffy. I'm going to keep it going. So I'll give this another couple of minutes, and then we'll add a little bit of flour and our buttermilk. So you can see how we've got a wet mixture there, but it's not so wet that it's sloshing around in that bowl. So that flour, about 1/2 cup I ended up using, has helped stop that happening. All right, now I want to fold the rest in. So I need another 1.5 cups, because I've already put 1/2 cup in. This is a 1/2 cup measure, so I'm going to need 3, 2, A little bit more. And then that remaining bit of flour in there, I'm going to keep to put with my blueberries as well, so that we don't end up with a stew at the bottom of our cake. We end up with a sauce. So I'll fold all this together now, gently. We want this to be nice and light and fluffy. We don't want to overwork the flour. We don't want to knock out any bubbles that we do have in there already. So that's done. Our batter's come together nicely. Pop that to the side. And now I'll start making the bottom of our pudding. So got my little baking tray, my pudding tray. My blueberries in. I want them to line the bottom about an inch, 2.5 centimetres up. So you're going to need a good amount of blueberries. It is a blueberry pudding after all. So that is about the amount of blueberries that you want. You want a good amount of blueberries, probably 1/3 of your tin, your baking tin. And in with that, I'm going to put a little bit of sugar. About a tablespoon, some vanilla. About a teaspoon of vanilla. Some gin, about a shot. Depending on how much you like gin, you could do 2 shots if you wanted to. It's about 60 mils. Give that a mix. And then as these blueberries cook, they'll break down. And as they break down, they'll make water, or they'll let their juices out. And we don't want this to be all sort of mushy and wet at the bottom. We want there still to be blueberries intact, but also there to be a nice sauce. So I'm going to add a little bit of that leftover flour. Not much. About a tablespoon. Mix that through. And that flour will mix with those juices as they break down. And that will create a sauce that our blueberries will sit in. Alrighty. As that warms up, as that flour warms up, mixes with that sauce, it'll thicken and we'll end up. So this just needs to go on top of that. If you wanted to, you could pull some of those blueberries out and put them into the batter itself. So you've got a few little blueberries. Actually, it's a good idea. I'm going to do that. Just going to fold a few of these blueberries, not many, a couple of spoons full, into our actual batter. We've still got a decent amount at the bottom, but we're also going to have some blueberries mixed through our batter itself. Okay, so the batter goes on top. If we've done things right, this will rise a little bit. So leave yourself just about 1 centimetre at the top of your baking tray or of your pie tin or whatever it is that you're popping into. And that is our pudding made. You sprinkle some brown sugar on there. You could crush up some nuts and put that on top of there if you wanted to. I'm just going to go plain into an oven, 180 degrees for about 35 minutes. Remember, the batter is quite thin, so it's not going to take that long to cook. It won't take the normal time that a cake would take to cook, so 45, 50 minutes. It'll take about 35. But same thing as you would normally do with a cake. Put a skewer in. If there's no batter on the skewer when it comes out, it's cooked. When you want to serve this, just grab a big spoonful of the cake itself, the blueberries into a bowl with a little bit of cream and ice cream. It's beautiful. Once you break into that cake and see those blueberries and that smell comes out with the gin the vanilla and the blueberry flavour, you'll understand why you go through all that painstaking. It's not really painstaking, you just add those little extra steps. We're mixing those blueberries with the flour, the sugar, the vanilla and the gin. It adds another layer to it.